Yo YouTube, this is my video for Friday the 13th of June. It's currently nearly 11 o'clock and I'm about 25 minutes away from my first pickup of the day. I have to say I'm feeling quite grumpy today. I'm quite tired. When things go wrong, like my phone holder falls off its perch, it irritates me immensely. Anyway, just want to pre-warn you, I'm quite grumpy today. Anyway, what am I doing now? So, I'm on my way to, I think it's a site clearance of a comms site near to Wisbeach, although there's a story behind that. When I bid on this job, the job was going from a village called Emneth outside of Wisbeach to Birmingham. It was 99 loaded miles, and I know that me to Wisbeach is about 45 minutes. So when he rang me to give me the job, I said I'll be 45 minutes away. When the job came through, it's actually 7 miles further towards Norfolk. It's nowhere near Emneth, it's more towards Terrington St John, if you know the area. So I'm going to end up being about an hour roughly, I think, by the time I get there. I can't quite remember when I left. The other thing I've noted is when he said it was a site clearance, I did say to him, will there be people there to load my van and offload my van at the other end? And he said there would be, but whether that's true or not, I think is still 50-50. But I have asked the question, and I'm not expecting to do any handballing on this job, but we'll see what they expect when I get on site. I'm guessing on site they won't know that I won't be having handballing, and therefore they'll be a bit surprised, or maybe even a bit upset that I don't help. I mean, I'll help as much as I can, but it's going to be limited. And the other thing is, I've got a what 3 words address for this, so I should be going to the right place. But by the nature of these remote pickup points, it's never guaranteed that you're going to get to the right place first time. So I'm expected to have a little bit of difficulty finding the place, and maybe even access will be difficult as well. Yeah, so anyway, I'll let you know when I picked up how it goes. But I must say, my grumpiness is not conducive to this sort of job. Oh, price-wise, I'm getting £130 for this 130. It's a long wheelbase van job, going now 106 miles. It was 99 when I bid. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Hello there, YouTube. It is now 12:20. I arrived on site at 11:20, and it took about 55 minutes in total for my van to get loaded. I keep making the same mistake, which I'm going to try and stop doing from now on, and that is assuming that the shippers I talk to listen to what I say and take on board, or if they're not sure, ask further questions. Let me be specific about this. I'll be very specific. So I have in the past done this kind of site clearance, and so I know what to expect in terms of, you know, the location could be hard to get to. There could be a lot of waste type products that needs to be transported, and I know that with the best will in the world, I can't do very much to help with the loading. I can do a little bit, but I can't do, if it's a big load, I can't do that much. I can't do as much as the people on site would expect a driver to be able to do. So I'm kind of relying on talking to the shipper, and when I get a job, when I understand it's a site clearance, so I'm just saying, oh, will there be people to load and unload? Because I can't do that very well. But what I didn't do today was be specific. I didn't say to the shipper, I can't do loading or unloading at all. And also, I wasn't specific with them. Bearing in mind, I know site clearances can be quite big. I didn't say, I've got a 3.5 metre van, will that be enough for today's job? And in retrospect, if I'd said those two things, I would have felt that I'd done all that I could have done as a kind of professional driver. That beeping, by the way, which I can't stop, is my van telling me that my side door and my rear doors are open. They're not open. I've checked them really carefully. It's just that there's so much stuff in my van, it's pushing against the doors, that I think that's just causing the sensor to think they're not open, not closed. So I have to just put up with that beeping, I'm afraid, while I'm talking to you. So I wasn't that specific. I kind of assumed, and I know now in retrospect I probably shouldn't have assumed, that the shipper would sort of take on board what I said and sort of communicate what I said to the customers. Obviously, when I arrived on site, first thing, when I arrived on site, it was quite easy to find in the end. It wasn't that hard, and it wasn't that far from the main road, so that was quite an easy thing. And when I came in, I went in with my friendly hello, good morning, how are you type thing, and the first thing that they were all saying to themselves, I would say muttering, but they weren't muttering it, they were saying quite loudly, is this is not going to fit on that van, all this stuff. So I just said, I will try our best. I got back in my van, I left them to it. Oh no, I cleared my van first. So my tramping bag and my a couple of other things that are in there, I cleared those out. So they had a free loading bay to deal with. And I sat there waiting for them to load up, and they did start. And then one of the guys said, can you come and help us? And I said, well, I've got health issues, I will try, but I've got health issues. And so I did start to try, and I did some quite pathetic amount of light cardboard transferring it. And I did probably about 5 sort of routes to and forth. And then I was getting a bit out of breath. And then the guy who'd asked me just said, it's okay, you can go back in your cab now. So I think, it's very reasonable for him to ask a driver to help. I've got no issue with that. I've got no issue with trying to help, but it's limited as to what I can do. And the effect that I can have on the loading, in terms of saving them time and effort, is probably minimal. It's probably not an awful lot worth it. I probably did enough to make it worth it to some extent, because I took 5 loads to my van, so that saves them 5 trips. But anyway, so I left them to it. It took them about 45 minutes to load up my van. My van is completely chock-a-block full of stuff, mostly cardboard stuff, but there's other stuff as well. And in the end, all that was left on site was about 5 empty pallets, wooden pallets, which are sort of outside the gate on the verge. So I don't think it's that bad. It's not ideal, but it's not that bad in my view. Now, the guys that were on site were perfectly friendly, and they were fine. I think they were at the start quite verbal in their disappointment about the size of the van and not having help, but by the end I didn't sense there was any resentment from them. So I'm on my way to Birmingham now. It's 106 miles, and I'm going to be there around about 2:30 if I don't stop. The only thing is, I do really need the toilet, and yeah, I'm gonna do a clip next. Right, last week I did information about my PD dialysis, and I did a whole load of information about the thing I'm going to tell you about now, which I then took out. I thought that's going into too much information, but then I think today actually it's kind of relevant, and I probably do need to say it. It's relevant to me as a person and my life and my health. It's relevant also to me as a same-day courier. So I'm going to stop this in a moment, have a little break, and then I'm going to come back to you and try and I'm going to try and explain with enough detail that it works. Anyway, see you soon. Hello YouTube. So as promised, here is an excruciating amount of detail about my PD effects on my body. So, just to summarise, peritoneal dialysis has fluid in the abdomen. Around your organs in the abdomen, there's a membrane called the peritoneal membrane, and that separates the cavity from your organs, like your kidney, liver, stomach, pancreas, small intestines, large intestines. And if you can imagine, there's not an awful lot of space in the abdomen which you pack in, particularly pack in the large and small intestines. It's not like you've got like a 2 litre space, just like a box in your body. So I have now, during the day, I carry with me in my abdomen 2 litres of the dialysis fluid, so that I'm getting sort of constant slow dialysis happening throughout the day. And then at night that will be drained off, and then my usual dialysis starts overnight. Now it's the draining off bit which is the problem, because although there's a membrane between the bowels and where the liquid is, there's not a lot of space there. So if your bowels are full or slightly bigger than they should be, it blocks the spaces that stops the drainage of the liquid. And there is no way that you can do PD dialysis without addressing your bowels. And the way that's done is you have to take a significant number of laxatives to soften your stools so that they're not kind of bulging into the space which stops you draining your fluid off. And at night, if you don't get that right, then you get an alarm every time you drain down the liquid, and that then wakes you up. It's made my sleep horrible the last few nights. We've changed the settings as of last night, so I'm now not doing quite as much percentage drain. It's now 60%. I'm doing 6 cycles with 60% drainage, and that means there's very little alarming going on. But when I do, I do need to up the percentage at some point. So at the moment, I'm having to take more laxatives to try and get my bowels looser and flowing more. And I do feel like there's some sort of blockage there at the moment. So I'm just trying to do that for long enough to get everything out. Now, unfortunately, if you take laxatives, you do loosen a lot of your stools, and you do have to be careful about where you end up on the road, sort of trying to be far from a toilet. So anyway, it's a thing to be concerned about. At the moment, I need to go to the toilet. I knew that when I was about half an hour away from my pickup, but I also knew I was going to go to the middle of the country, and therefore I was going to have very little opportunity to have a toilet. To be fair, there was a portaloo on site. I just couldn't face asking them to use that. 2 reasons really. One, they're muttering about me not helping and the van being too small. But also, I don't want to make it smelly for them. It wouldn't be nice. So I'm going to try and find somewhere on the way down to Birmingham. Now currently I'm okay. It's not. I'm sort of. It's settled down a bit. So I'm probably going to keep going until I feel it's a bit more urgent. But yeah, it's another thing to be concerned about that you wouldn't necessarily have known about with my PD dialysis. So that is an explanation as to what it's like. I'm still going through a period of adjustments, trying to get everything balanced right. I need to drink no more than 1 litre of water a day. Oh yeah, the other thing is water balance I want to talk about. So over the last week or so, I was putting on a lot of weight, which was clearly water retention. And I put on in the region of 4 litres of water over the course of 2 or 3 days, which is not good and had to be stopped. So what happened the night before last, we put on a stronger fluid so it drew out more of the water, and that did a really good job. It took off 2 litres overnight effectively, and then today I've weighed myself again. I'm back down to my normal weight, and the water would seem to not be a problem anymore. I do need to keep losing weight just generally from my back operation, so I'm sort of focusing now on that a lot more. And water retention can be quite dangerous. I've seen older people with kind of edema in their lower legs where they get water retention, and it's horrible. The legs swell, the skin blisters. It looks painful, and it looks very difficult to deal with. And you can't fit in your shoes. So it's something that I have experienced in my previous sort of jobs, but it's not something that I want to happen to myself, obviously. So my water levels are back to normal. It took about 2 days to do that. So as long as I have to measure my weight every day, measure my blood pressure every day, and I have to make sure that I'm very conscious of my bowels. So there you go. There's a full explanation as to the PD dialysis routine, and I'll get on with my day. Thank you very much for listening to this. If you've stuck through all this, you're amazing. Cheers. Hello there, YouTube. Just a quick update. I've delivered my delivery at Birmingham. I arrived on site at 3 minutes past 3, got offloaded by 25 past 3, and now it is 10 to 4. A couple of little points. They were very good at the drop-off sites. They were very organised. I had to fill out some paperwork. There was 3 of them that helped to unload my van, and they did it really quickly. So most of the time I was there was about the paperwork, and so I was really pleased about how they helped. Second point is it's not a lot of work close to where I am. I'm really looking at stuff only going eastwards, or at a push North London. I'll take a job to North London and then pop home. But third point is I'm quite tired still. I'm really quite tired. I'm not really feeling it today. It's quite hot. I'm parked in the shade of an oak tree at the moment, and I'm looking for jobs, but I'm quite close to just heading straight home and just calling it off. I'm just really not awake yet. I know that I'll wake up later on in the day, so I'm not gonna I'll give it some more time, but I'm just not really in the mood for today. I'm not as grumpy as I was this morning. That's sort of dissipated now. But yeah, so I'll let you know if I get a job, or I'll probably just do if I haven't got another job, this will be my last video, and I'll stick a few stats on for today, which won't be very impressive. I think I will have just about made enough to cover my business costs for today. Bearing in mind I've only worked for 2 days this week, I won't have covered business costs for the week. So was it worth it? Well, yeah, of course it was. And I'm not working on Monday or Tuesday. I'll be back to work on Wednesday if I don't see you again. Cheers.